Well, before we release kids, I'm going to share many of you know that I was at a conference this last weekend, and I'll be honest with you, like, I wasn't all that excited to go. Nikki knows this. Like, both of us were like, so I'm normally like going, I really want to go to whatever, conference, and I go to like maybe one a year. And I didn't really feel that, but I kept feeling the Lord speak to me about being at this conference, which was super weird because it's kind of expensive to do the whole thing. Hey, Brett, welcome. And what?
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, you're here. We'll try and push it back for you next time. We'll see what we can do. We're just getting rolling. And I kept feeling like, was that me?
That was you.
Really? Whoa, that was really loud and obnoxious. I kept feeling the Lord really encouraging me to be there in this space. And I don't know if you've ever felt like that, where the Lord was inviting you into something and you're like, I'm not super thrilled about that. It's okay, it's fine, but maybe I'll just say yes to you. And after having been there, I know why He really encouraged me to go. There was a beautiful thing that happened in this space that I got to be a part of, and I got to see that what God's doing in our space and this reformation that I think is happening in the church is really happening in a much bigger way, and these people are gathering and coming together to really speak a powerful partnership of intimacy with God, what's possible in terms of not talking about God, but living life with God. And I got to be present in the space to watch this thing happen and to celebrate and be a part of it. And one of the cool stories that happened there was Paul Young, who wrote The Shack. He shared a story about a friend's son named Jamie, who when he was in college, they take these aptitude tests, and they're actually kind of designed for government agencies to decide whether or not they're interested in you. And if you score at a certain level, which is, highly unlikely, they kind of mark your file for the rest of your life and follow you and see if they might be able to recruit you into service for, like, say, the CIA or NSA. Has this happened to you, Nikki? Is that what you're saying? I see you responding like you know about this. So I'm like, are you secretly a part of is this a CIA infiltration happening here? Is that what I'm like finally realizing? Okay, no, not so much. Okay, we'll have to hear that story later. Okay, you'll share later. So anyway, this young man, Jamie, was one of 2 out of 500 students who were marked. And once he graduated, he was approached and asked if he wanted a job. And he said, no, I don't. I'm not interested in that. I want to be a cop. And they're like, that's like so low level, like ghetto, hello, this is the CIA. But he said, that's what I want to do. And as he was working as a cop, they started to realize that every time he worked on a shift, the arrests would go way down and the crime rate would go way down. And it was because he had this mission to protect and serve. And so every time he was on the job with the Holy Spirit to protect and serve, his job wasn't just to protect the victims, it was to protect all humanity. And so when he would come face to face with someone who was in the midst of some level of a crime, he would go, dude, really? Really? This isn't who you are. Why are you doing this? This isn't who you are. Come on, like, let's get real. And so he would have these like surreal, unbelievable experiences happening as a cop. And so because his file was flagged, he was then also approached again by the CIA to, have you guys heard this? I've never heard this before. I know, it's really fun, right? I had never heard this before. He was approached again to talk to them about why he was having such a great success rate as a cop. And he sat down with them and he said, well, you're not going to like my answer. And they said, well, we may not, but we really want to hear it. And so he said, well, I love Jesus and I listen to the Holy Spirit and that's what I do. And they said, you're right. We don't like that answer. But we would like for you to teach the rest of our people how to do this. And he was like, okay. So he now has a job teaching with the CIA and the NSA and all the other IAs people how to listen to the Holy Spirit in their crime solving. And none of them are, quote, believers. And apparently that's not necessary because they're all having tremendous success in learning how to listen to the Holy Spirit Because I think Jesus said this thing about pouring out his Spirit on all flesh. And that everyone has access to hearing God, and whether you're awakened to who he is fully through Christ, apparently is irrelevant. And I just thought it was such an amazing story. It goes on from there, but it so encouraged me because it just blows up your boxes about what's possible, because if someone solving a crime who has nothing to do with God can hear the Holy Spirit and what God's doing in the earth, well then certainly so can we. And we all were made to break through. And as I was driving to California, I was thinking about like us here at Desert Outpouring and our lack of signage and our like super privateness. And I love the story, Britt, of how you came to us, because it was like, who possibly even knows this other person who knows this other person who could ever even recommend us, who's never actually even been here, which is why you decided to check us out for the first time, right? And so, because we're like tiny, we're like just this tiny little jewel in the desert. I love us. And I felt the Lord going, don't lose the joy in this season of like tininess and preciousness. He goes, because once that season is over, it is over. But realize that when you are doing a breakthrough thing, it requires breakthrough effort, which makes everything is more difficult. And so the whole time I was driving out to California, I kept hearing the Lord go, how fast did that mile go? How fast did that mile go? Have you guys done this? Have you like driven out to LA or like Disneyland or something, and like you watch those miles go like, right? Right? And everything goes, well, like, because that's I'm driving on a road. I am not in a wagon. I am not walking next to a wagon. I'm not paving the road. I'm not creating the road. I am riding on somebody else's breakthrough. And so I felt the Lord go, get in tune with who you are and what you're doing, which is breakthrough. This is a breakthrough movement. And I got to go be in a space with a couple thousand other people who are in the same breakthrough that we're in, which is a life of intimacy with God, a life of abiding joy, a life where we war on negativity with our peace, with our joy, with our goodness. And so, yay! I just love that. So with that note, do any of you kiddos, before you go, yeah, did you want?
Did Sean call you this time?
Oh, I did not get called up.
Oh my gosh.
But there was a guy who said, there's a gal in this area right here, and he was like pointing right at me with the first initial A, and my heart started to pound, you know, and I'm like, and he goes, well, I know it really would be embarrassing. He'd probably just go, no, we got you. You're done. Sit back down. Right? Ah, the price is right. So no, I did not get any prophetic words from like anyone on the stage. But I did get hunted down in the lobby and got a really amazing, beautiful word from one of their team members. So that was really wonderful. So yeah, so that happened. But did any of you kiddos want to comment on cool NSA police guys who are solving crime with the power of the Holy Spirit? Like, that's a super cool superpower. Yes?
It's CIA for church in uniform.
Ooh, nice. Super close. A upside down. I got it. Church in uniform. Nice. Nicely done. Okay, so kiddos are released. You can actually go to Miss Christie in the nursery. That's where you get to go. All right, see you later, alligator. Really? You're gonna give me some skin? Oh, try it again. Awesome. Thank you. So, have any of you guys heard Paul Young speak? Have you? Okay. So I've not heard him, and I probably should have Googled him a long time ago when I like fell in love with the Shack and fell in love with the movie. But have you heard him speak much, Sharon? Oh, you have. Okay, yeah, that's what I mean, like on YouTube. I haven't. Quite a bit. Okay, so I don't know what he's typically like, but you could tell that he felt like he was in a free space because he unloaded. And it was so beautiful to be in this space with people who are passionate and committed to exploring and talking about and sharing the goodness of God, and incredibly passionate about the magnificence of humanity. And we're adamant about wanting to express how essential it is that we discover and operate out of our true identity and the Lord's delight regarding us. And so those were some of the like beautiful things. One of the things that I thought was super interesting or challenging in it was that there was, let me check my time just so I know where I'm at. Okay. They had a panel, and so they had, I don't know, some really beautiful black woman who's a movie star, and I don't remember what her name is. And they had the guy who directed the movie Same Kind of Different as Me. I don't know if you remember that. It was a beautiful movie. Bruce Willis and a boy with autism and Renee Zellweger, I think. Anyway, so I'm looking at you like you know. This is the guy who thinks every bald guy's Bruce Willis on TV. Right?
Should be.
Should be. Him or you, right? So, and then they had some guy who owns a painting business that has become this multi-gazillion-dollar painting business. And then they had Jennifer Toledo, who is in this process of like just doing unbelievable stuff all around the world. So they did this incredible panel, and I was watching this panel of people, and the beautiful part of it was they like wasted no time in getting into like the heart story of what God's doing in their life. It was so humble and so beautiful, and it was really powerful. And when it was done, I said to the Lord, I adored that and I loved it. But the only thing that I find consistently missing at these conferences and these events and these panels is the appreciation and the understanding of the value of a simple life lived with God. Because everybody there is doing these worldwide moves of this, that, which requires bazillions of dollars and people and stuff and things. And I think that that's amazing. But if that is our only model, we have lost the value of the significance of when one person agrees with God regarding their spouse. We've lost the value that